Alright, y'all, so a little bit of a backstory. Last night, somebody tried to commit fraud on me, right? They somehow, some way got my card information. I don't know how because I still have my card. But yeah, they used it, tried to spend like $700-800. And that's why real quick in this video, I want to talk to y'all about why it's so important to actually track every single dollar. And before some of y'all click off, this has nothing to do with the budget today, right? A lot of the times when I talk about, tracking every single dollar, I talk about having a zero-based budget. And usually I interlock those like with the same topics, but we ain't doing that today. I want y'all to realize it's also important to track every single dollar because of fraud, because of stuff like this, right? So you actually have an idea of what's going on inside of your bank account. So you're actually controlling your money instead of letting your money control you, because broke people who is never going to get anywhere in their life, they let their money control them. You know what I'm saying? Successful people, rich people, wealthy people, they control their money. They know what their money's doing. They tell their money what to do. That's why it is that important to track every single dollar. So I got 4 main things that I want to talk about real quick that it is just why you should track every single dollar in the case of fraud. But before I get into those 4 points, I want to, if you don't know who I am, if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome, right? I'm a small YouTuber, but I've been able to save 50K in the last year working a regular 9-to-5 job. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, right? I'm not an expert by any means, but I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So without further ado though, let's get into the video, right? First point that I want to talk about why you should track every single dollar is just simply so that you know what every single transaction that you're making is, right? So in my case, what just happened last night, when I go to look at my bank, right? I go on my phone, I go on the mobile banking and I look at that. I know what I've purchased and what I haven't purchased, right? I'm personally not one that'll make, decent big purchases, for a couple $100, because right now, I'll do it every now and then, but right now I'm big on saving money, living frugal, just staying down and stacking your money, just setting myself up for success. So when I went in there this morning and I went onto my bank and I looked and I seen, $700-800 that got declined. Nah, that wasn't me. So I called the bank, right? Got it situated, got a new card on the way. That one don't work no more. And just knowing, what every single transaction is, what is normal for you and what's not normal for you is crucial if you want to be able to catch fraud when it first happens. Which leads me to my second point, is catching fraudulent purchases, fraudulent people, fraudulent actions and stuff before they basically compound, right? I talk about compounding a lot. Y'all know it's there's not a lot of stuff in life that's linear, right? A lot of stuff compounds. And I'm telling you, this hasn't happened to me personally, but I've seen it happen. I've heard about it happen too, is these people who are trying to scam people. They'll start off with some small purchases, right? And eventually, once they realize, you're not checking your money, you're not tracking every dollar, and you're not doing anything to stop them from making these small purchases, it leads to bigger purchases, bro, and bigger, and it compounds, and then soon enough, you're in a real bad pickle because you don't track your money, right? Broke people don't track their money, they don't know what's going on, and that's why they stay broke. 100%. But successful people who do track their money, right, they can catch these fraudulent purchases before they actually compound into big setbacks. Next thing I want to talk about is that you should always know what your checking account has in it. This is why I keep my checking account right around a month's worth of expenses with a little bit of buffer in it. I don't keep a whole ton of money in there, right? I have my money elsewhere, but constantly, I know I got this much money basically in my checkings account. I know I got my rent about to come out. I got groceries I got to buy, right? So I know what my account should be, on a certain day. So when I go to look at my account and if something's off, right? Say for example, you're supposed to have $2,000 in that account and you only got $1,500. where did the $500 go? You know, that's like an instant red flag, and sometimes it could be fraud. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to track your money. That's why you got to know how much money you have. And last point that I want to talk about real quick is just tracking every single dollar. It just gives you a little peace of mind, right? Like I was talking about just a couple minutes ago, they'll start off with these small purchases and, you know, lead into the big ones. If you track every single dollar, you know, when something unexpected like this happens, you know, where you wake up and you realize your card info had got stolen, you know what purchases are yours, right? And you could go straight to, in my case, the $700 purchase, right? I know they didn't spend no more money elsewhere, right? Because I know my spending. So like I can go and focus on, you know, getting the $700-800 figured out right away instead of nitpicking through every single purchase that I made, right? So I know this is a short video. Like I literally woke up a couple hours ago, I went to the gym, came home, and now we're making this video. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick. You know, tracking every single dollar, like I said at the beginning of the video, in this case, isn't only good for having a budget, but also in this case, you know, having control over your money and being able to notice when, you know, people try to do stuff like this, because there's nasty people out there who will try to commit fraud on you and take your money, right, that you worked hard for. So just track every single dollar, like know what's going on. Like I said, broke people, right, they let their money control them. They let their money tell them what to do. Successful people, rich people, they control their money. They tell their money what to do. So just remember that, think about that. And that's all I'm gonna talk about in this video. If y'all made it this far, that y'all use this as a lesson, you know, to at least start paying a little bit of attention with what's going on in your financial situation. But if y'all enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. I want to say I appreciate y'all for 100 subs. I know it's nothing crazy, but more on the way. That's all I gotta say. We're gonna keep grinding, you know, keep staying down, stacking money, and just, you know, trying to build a better life. Appreciate y'all. Comment down below too, before I forget, if y'all have ever experienced like fraud like this. If y'all got any tips for me, right? Because it's my first time actually experiencing it. So if y'all got tips for me, let me know. And yeah, I'll see everybody in the next one. Peace out.